Okay, I want to, like people are getting light pilled in real time here, and there's some really good practical advice, and I want to focus on because you said this, and I fully agree with it. Sleep is massive. It's where we do all of our recovery. What would you say? I think you've teased some of it, but if it was to kind of become a protocol, if you will, from you, what's the ideal nighttime routine?
Yeah, the ideal nighttime routine starts the moment you wake up and when you wake up. So you should really try your best to align your sleep schedule with the sun. And America, that's pretty doable. If you live in like Sweden or something in the winter, I mean, it's pretty hard.
Yeah.
I was there this past summer and it never got dark
Yep.
fully, and I
Yep.
was this is crazy. But it starts first thing when you wake up. I highly recommend waking up, at first light and getting outside. The first thing you should be doing is going outside, no matter what. No way you should be looking at a screen. You don't need the cup of coffee. You will get a natural rush of cortisol when you go outside and blue light hits your eyes. And when that happens, your body suppresses melatonin production and it sets off a cascade of reactions in your body saying it is the morning time, it is X o'clock in X location at X time of year. That is how precise our circadian system goes. And blue light, the reason why it's so important is because it's the main Zeitgeber or time giver to the master clock in our brain, in our hypothalamus, and that's setting the clocks in all our systems in the rest of our body. And when you go outside first thing in the morning, it's setting yourself up for success during the day. And, people like Huberman talk about how we're more sensitive to light inputs in the morning and at nighttime. Sure. But yeah, start your day with getting outside first thing, getting that blue light in your eyes, the full spectrum. You're getting red and infrared, and that's going to give you energy to go throughout the day. Now, depending on what you do, the blanket recommendation is spend as much time outside as possible as you can during the day. Because what did I mention earlier? The outside level of brightness is thousands, even hundreds, multiple hundreds of times brighter on a cloudy, very overcast day, even. And you're getting all those beneficial input signals that's telling your body what time it is. And it's not directly adjacent to sleep, but if you want to go down the rabbit hole, I mentioned near infrared light. One of the main breakthroughs in the past few years in terms of scientific research from Scott Zimmerman, Russell Ryder, is that near infrared light exposure during the day actually stimulates melatonin production in the mitochondria in other areas of your body. So melatonin is known as only this like master hormone of darkness, but it does a whole lot more. And everyone knows it's very restorative and repairing and anti-cancer, antioxidant, etc., anti everything. Those are all true, but you don't have to only get melatonin at night. You can get it during the day from near infrared exposure. So getting outside, getting incandescence in your ambient environment, getting infrared light therapy, even if you have specific conditions or injuries, that's monumental. And then getting towards, when the sun goes down, you definitely want to respect the natural light environment that you're in. So dimming the lights here in the winter, it can be hard because the sun goes down at 5 o'clock. But I'm pretty extreme. I use incandescents and candles, and I try and make sure there's no overhead lights on because the angle of light incidence can also matter. But setting yourself up slowly, and don't get me wrong, I still stay up to like 10, 11 o'clock, doing work, but I just have these very low energy, low brightness lights in the environment. And then my screens, I'm working on a daily computer, I'm working on a MacBook with, the red light screen filter on or blue light blockers if I'm staring directly at it. And that's helpful because it's minimizing the amount of blue light, it's minimizing the total brightness in the environment, and it's kind of telling my body, all right, sleep time is probably coming soon. And I would recommend, ideally that you eat right around dinner, right around when the sun is going down or before it, or very shortly after so that you can give your body the chance to digest, and that's not, a main function that it's doing while you're sleeping, because you want your sleep to be very focused on restoring and repairing, as we discussed. So sleep, or so eating, finishing your meals many hours before, exercise close to bed, can also disrupt sleep as well, and can spike cortisol. So really respecting the wind down periods, and this is something I could always improve upon, and years have been better than other years. But really honoring, and why I love the daylight is, okay, if it's the last 90 minutes or so before you go to bed, then try and just do something that's less stimulating, do something that's calm, read a book, or watch a relaxing movie, or just take some notes and journal, or hang out with your significant other or your family or your pet and just kind of chill, or take a shower or cook some food for the next day. Like, try and just reduce the amount of stimulation as much as you can. And the sooner you can get into full darkness, the better your melatonin secretion is going to be, and kind of the sooner that it's going to happen, so you'll be able to fall asleep easier. So something really strange that I used to do a lot more, I do it sometimes, is I would take a shower before I went to bed in the pitch black, or just have like a very dim candle, and it was great from just a destimulation and like full darkness, or a very minimal light perspective. And really, the other thing is respecting your sleep sanctuary. Your bedroom should be like an altar in terms of like how much you value this space. You should, for starters, do nothing in there besides sleep and make love, and that's it. That you should not be in there for anything else. You should not be ever working in there, doing anything stressful, and you should really not have a lot of powered devices. I highly recommend turning your Wi-Fi off at night. I highly recommend turning your phone on airplane mode and keeping it in another room when you sleep. And I go as far as having zero power in my bedroom, so that there's far less electrical, low power EMFs that I'm exposed to. And or you can keep the power and just unplug things from your bedroom. And the less devices you have powered on, the less electronics that are in the room, the less stimulation, the less stress, the less input signals to your body. And then what is able to shine through is the input signals that you want, which is like the Earth's natural geomagnetic field. And cold, dark, quiet. It's hard in some places, but that is definitely ideal. I mean, I embrace seasonality hard, so my temperature in my room varies tens of degrees by the month. I think in the summer it's like 70-75 degree range, and right now it's 55 when I woke up this morning. So I embrace seasonality. If you live in Texas where it's a bit more mild, those swings are going to be less, but you definitely need that drop in temperature. So taking a warm shower, or opening the window and then getting in a cold room, that drop in temperature is going to help you fall asleep as well. But it all comes down to consistency and embracing the light cycle. So everyone's like, you don't have to go to bed at like 10 o'clock all year round, or wake up at 6 all year round. What really you need is consistency with your light cycles, and that's going to be context dependent. And I am a firm believer that in the summer you can get away with far less sleep because you have far more solar energy, and in the winter you need to embrace it more. And this is also confirmed by the fact that vitamin D and melatonin are kind of a yin and yang antagonist hormones, and melatonin can actually bind to the vitamin D receptors. So when I don't think, after maybe next week, I can't even produce vitamin D anymore here in Wyoming, because there's no ultraviolet B wavelengths, the shortest wavelengths that are making it to the surface of the earth, which needs to have the sun above 30 degrees on the horizon. And I can't make vitamin D for like 2-3 months. If you're in Scandinavia or Canada, that's even longer. And this is actually a restorative period of the year. So not even the restorative period of the day when you're sleep, or at night when you're sleeping. There's also feast famine, yin yang, restorative, anabolic catabolic signals and seasons in the year, and the winter is certainly that. So I would really focus on trying your best to embrace the light cycles in your sleep routine. So that's a lot, but I do think it's the most important area, and yeah, sleep hygiene is always helpful for being able to handle what is thrown at you. And if you work a 9 to 5, guess what? I can't tell you to quit your job and move to Costa Rica, but I can tell you to, take a break during the day, eat lunch outside, and at nighttime, dial in your sleep hygiene and routine, and you can handle a lot.
Yeah.
Our bodies are very resilient.
Hey, before you go anywhere, listen up. I've got a special announcement. Mark your calendars for this one. November 22nd, Heart and Soil is dropping a new documentary called Fed a Lie. This is going to be the documentary on seed oils. The end, the nail in the coffin. Expect to hear from experts like Dr. Paul Saladino, Nina Teicholz, Dr. Chris Kenobi, even superstars like Bethany Hamilton, as we gathered the big dogs to put an end to the seed oil madness. If you want to check that out, go to Heart and Soil's YouTube, subscribe, and go to fedalie.film. Plug in your details, and we will make sure you get the link as soon as that goes live so you can spread it far and wide. This will be an incredible conversation starter at the family table over the holidays, and it will be you helping us to spread this message of radical health and be a part of the healthy revolution. And as always, thank you for being here. If you like the show, please like it, subscribe it, and share it. Help us to spread this message of radical health. And we'll see you next week. Big love.